Hey guys, Languagehacker here. Today, I made myself play some Murloc Warlock on ladder. I had some fun, and I had some not fun. But, it's an interesting deck, and there was a lot of support printed for it this expansion, so I'm going to go through the deck, explain what you can do with it, and how to win, if possible. Aptly named Murloc. You'll notice that we are playing, I believe, 28 Murloc-related cards, and then 2 non-Murloc-related cards. Let's talk about what got added this expansion, so you understand why we're playing a Murloc deck in the first place. Let's start with the rock bottom. 1 mana spell, summon a 1/1 Murloc, cool, and then dredge. If the dredged card is also Murloc, summon 1 more. So this is kind of equivalent to like a Wolpertinger in Hunter, right? On turn 1, you can play 2 1/1s, and you get to choose your next draw. Not bad. If it's a Murloc, which almost the entire deck is, it's very, very, very difficult to miss on this. Almost impossible. Not impossible, but almost impossible. Next, Chum Bucket. Give all Murlocs in your hand +1/+1. Just by itself, that's a pretty big stat buff if you have a lot of stuff in hand, right? Repeat for each Murloc you control. That means for every Murloc on board, on your side of the board, an extra +1/+ buff gets applied to every minion in your hand. And that can really, really, really add up. Especially with, for example, Rock Bottom on 1, you get 2 Murlocs on board, and then on turn 2, you play Chum Bucket. Every Murloc in your hand now has +3/+3. So turn 1, turn 2, and then turn 3, you drop, let's say, for example, a Twin Twin, that has +3/+3. So on turn 3, you're summoning 2 5/4s with Rush. That's pretty good. And then you still have whatever Murlocs were left in your hand buffed. All right, a lot of stats. So that's just kind of your normal curve out, 1, 2, whatever. What you can also do is in slower matchups, tap, accumulate some resources, play some Warlock Ravagers, which draw more Murlocs, and then play a couple cheap Murlocs, Chum Bucket, get a few hits off, and you buff an entire hand of Murlocs. And then you slowly start spreading out your threats. You play a few 8/8s, then a few 8/8s, and so on and so forth. So there's a couple of different ways to play this deck, depending on what kind of deck you're up against. Against tempo matchups, let's say Pirate Warrior, Mech Pal, and stuff like that, you just want to get on the board. You do want some value if you can off of Chum Bucket, but it's important to be on the board, contest your opponent's minions so they can't do their things properly. You want to just contest that. But against lower decks, where you know they're going to take time, they're going to draw cards, and then eventually get to the win condition, you can take it a little bit slower. You still want to pressure them so that they can't get to the win condition, but you can try to, you know, evaluate when it's better to play Chum Buckets, maybe to buff more minions, or just to play it quickly and get pressure out. Depends on your hand. Sometimes you just don't have enough Murlocs in your hand, like your hand's on coin, you have what? Tiny Fins, double Rock Bottom, and a Chum Bucket. You might want to wait a couple turns off the Chum Bucket because you're not buffing anything relevant. But if you have just a 1, 2, 3, 4 go hand, go in, smork them. Let's talk about the other Murlocs that we're running. Bloodsin Vilefin, also new this expansion. 4 mana, 4/4 Murloc. Battlecry Dredge. If it's a Murloc, change its cost to health instead of mana, which means that you can play this on turn 4 after an Asharan Scavenger, which says 3 mana, 3/4. Battlecry, put a Sunken Scavenger on the bottom of your deck. Sunken Scavenger is also 3 mana, 3/4, but it buffs all Murlocs on board, hand, and deck, friendly Murlocs, by +1/+1. So you have a nice little turn 3 play this, turn 4 play this, turn 5 you draw a health costed Murloc that buffs all your other Murlocs. Pretty good curve, especially if you've been curving out already. And yeah, you can also save Rock Bottom for after Scavenger to make sure that you put this on top of your deck so you draw it. There's a lot of stuff you can do, and most of these cards are cheap enough that you have a bit of flexibility on your turn, so you can kind of plan how you want to get your Murloc buffs going. Sometimes you don't draw Rock Bottom or Chum Bucket or Scavenger at all, and you just kind of have to smork them with Murlocs. And I think I have 1 or 2 games where that did happen, so I'll include that in the video after this explanation. What else are we running? Tiny Fins, 0 mana 1/1s. I don't really play these for tempo too often. I think it's good to save for Chum Bucket, or to save it for like a Scavenger or a Lushwater Scout. Lushwater Scout, this was existent before, but it gives all your Murlocs Rush. Well, any that are played or summoned after this is in play, which means that a 0 mana 1/1 pushing for 1 damage a turn might be okay, but it's not that great. However, changing that to a 0 mana deal 2 damage with Rush, that can be a lot better, especially in tempo matchups or when you have to get through taunts. Let's say a Paladin summoning Immortalized in Stone, the 7 mana 3 taunt stuff. Scout plus a bunch of cheap Murlocs can help you get there. And especially after you've buffed all your minions, if you've taken it slow and you have a Lushwater Scout in hand, suddenly you have, you know, 6, 7, 8 attack Murlocs just rushing in and banging their heads into stuff. Amalgam of the Deep gives you some flexibility. You can discover more Murlocs, including, you know, the powerhouses. You can discover more Scavengers. You can discover more Vilefins. You can discover Gorlock Ravagers. There are Murlocs I have not included in this deck because there's more Murlocs than 30. There's more than 30 Murlocs. You can run Mutinous in your deck if you really want to hit, you know, combo matchups. But I think it's too expensive to run in your deck. However, that's something you can discover. If the matchup calls for it, there have been games where I've just discovered a Mutinous. I chomped, let's say, a Shellfish. Easy game. Notably, there's also Gigafin, which can help in some tempo matchups. However, it's, again, too slow and inconsistent in a deck where you need to play stuff on curve and combo stuff together. So I don't like having an 8 mana card kind of get in the way. However, once again, if you discover it, cool, in the appropriate matchup. Void Gale seems kind of okay. This is also a new Murloc card. Give all Murlocs in your hand +1/+1. Not quite as exciting, but still, again, solid curve play. Mercenary, solid curve play. Tidecallers, there's not that many 1-mana plays in this deck, so adding a couple of extra ones outside of just Rock Bottom can be quite nice. And this also does let you curve like Tidecaller into Amalgam or Tidecaller into Lushwater Mercenary. Even Tidecaller into Chum Bucket is just fine. I talked about Twin. You have the OG Cold Light Seer Murloc War Leader. Get some extra damage from hand. Buff your minions outside of range of stuff. This is particularly good against Druids when they run Scale of Onyxia. Even if you have 1 attack minions on the board, if they're 1/3s, suddenly Scales looks a lot worse when you have to trade 2/2/1 dragon guys into 1/1/3 Murloc, which is very yucky. So Cold Light Seer can be very useful in the Druid match. I mean, it's useful in any matchup where you need to buff your health to get stuff out of range. I included a Connie, which I don't think is in the HS replay list, but I felt like this was pretty good. It's very obvious when your opponents are setting up for some clears or some big turns, right? For example, if you have Druid going to turn 5, slam this, they can't nourish. Or going to turn 7 mana turn, you jam this, suddenly they can't play Scales anymore. Against decks like Shellfish Priest or Paladin, you can just jam this and then it's hard for them to clear board without minions, right? Sometimes they can go like a quality city tax, but often if they don't have a quality, they'll need Pyro to clear that. And if you block a minion, it blocks the Pyro. Or if they don't have a lot of mana, you can play a Connie just to block a quality altogether, regardless of Pyro or city tax. Battle Master I included as well. I think this was on HS Replay, and I thought it was reasonable to try out. Chum Bucket does not buff every Murloc in your deck. It's just stuff in your hand. So it could be reasonable where you just curve out a little bit. You have a couple of big boys, and then you just try to close out the game with those 2 big minions that you happen to buff, the 2 Murlocs. Otherwise, kind of like Zoo. If you're out of resources, start tapping more. Try to pair stuff together. If you want to save Lushwater Scout to rush into things and protect this in your hand, this is not always good to tempo it on board because it's kind of vulnerable, and you don't really want to do it if your opponent can easily deal with it, because then it loses its value. Buff stuff when it's good, push damage when it's good. Yeah, I had fun with this deck. There were some games that were really frustrating. You really have to play around Chum Bucket Rock Bottom stuff, because without that, the deck does kind of flounder. But play around these cards and you will probably win some games. Stats show that it's favored against Druid, which is pretty popular right now. Personally, I did not go positive against Druid in the games today, but I feel like some of the games were a little bit out of my control. So, meh. Anyways, have fun. Here's some cool games. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Also, having Earthen Scales for survivability. All of that together is just way too much. Let's try keeping the Lushwater Scout since I'm buffing. There you go. Urchin Spines. I'll pass. I draw 1 more minion if I chill. Off to Neverland. Now this survives a lot of stuff, so I can clear boards pretty easily. Yeah. Extra Lush Water Scout seems fine to me. And I'll push face. Okay. They can't play Snowfall Guardian yet. We have a lot of tempo on board, and we have these two, which are going to stick. So everything I play will have Rush now. I think from here we can't lose. Never mind. I think we can lose now. Aquatic Form finds them. That's true, but like Aquatic Form isn't... Like, you can still miss the Aquatic Form. Like, it's basically Discover. Your brother was a Murloc? Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, Coles is an awesome guy. Great guy to follow for arena stuff. I've been trying to push some arena stuff myself, but it's hard to grow an audience. Down on me. Just gonna leave board space up. I'm really tempting fate. No, it's fine. Trust. Don't worry about it. Is this +1 attack? It's unfortunate. Shit. My scouts. Oh, baby. My scouts are gone. I needed 2 Murlocs that can clear there and I didn't get it. Let's come. The deck thinning. Deck thinning by a card is not that. That's not how that works, Narkburger. Like, you're not really wrong, but the thinning one card isn't really the problem. Like, their tools are just way too good. It's not about, oh, you know, they have it at the perfect time. It's too... Everything they have, the whole package is too good. It's upsetting. They're Omega overloaded, though. I have to play War Leader to clean up? I guess I don't have to. I can just kill 2. Do I actually take Twin Fin so I can deal with board? No, I don't. Yes, please. Like, a deck having consistency is not bad. Pirate Warrior, for example, is consistent, but it's not busted. It does its thing really well, but it's not broken. Druid is broken and consistent. So you could cut the consistency, but I don't think that's gonna be a problem. Like, Ram Druid was still really fucking broken with the Ram cards without Aquatic Form and Dredge. So I don't think the issue is Dredge. I think Dredge is a positive mechanic to have for the game. I don't really care about this one card. I shouldn't die. I'm gonna tap that. I'm gonna Blood Scent. I believe I should be able to deal with Freezy Boy. So we'll do this. Hey Maya, what's up? This deck works Quest Hunter, I believe. Sure. I haven't played the matchup yet, but the minions get big enough that you probably do. Probably. Druid talk. Yeah, I'm sick of talking about Druid, but I was complaining about it, and the topic came up, so I think it's good to discuss. I don't think it's super constructive to say, oh, I'm so tired of playing against this deck and that deck. Like, if we can explain what exactly feels so bad, I think that's good to be able to communicate that, because that's how we improve. That's how we provide constructive feedback and explain to people, i.e. the dev team, what we don't want to play against. This is lethal. Nine on board plus 4 is 13. That's not lethal. No, it is lethal. Strike. Murl. Get in there, Tiny Fin. Will it be the most banned deck this weekend? Yeah, it was the most banned deck last weekend too. I don't think that's gonna change. All right, we are technically climbing, but we're at the point where we only have 1 star because I didn't have the full star bonus on Asia. So let's see how this works. Enjoy. Rogue? Rogue seems like it's a scary deck where I want to tempo things out quickly. Scavenger seems like, this seems good, but it seems slow, and that seems concerning. I think I want to get on the board very quickly against Rogue. If I happen to draw into this, great, but on the play, I think it's very important I hit stuff to do. Because they're going to smork me, and I won't be able to use my health efficiently to draw. So I will need to fight for board, spend mana. Like, this is just getting jammed. You don't think feedback will work? Well, it's not about whether or not it works, but, I mean, it will never work if we give aggressive, shitty feedback. Unironically, Tiny Fin. Tempo good. Closer to you. Hey, what's up, Dylan, actually? You were a 10-star gamer on Asia this month? Oof, Smoj. I'm fine turning this off. It's got a lot of mileage. Crush Claw's interesting. I wonder what that deck is. Well, I thought it was going to be Pyro Rogue. I didn't know it was going to be Naga Rogue. It could be both. They could be running School Teacher, Crush Claw stuff with a bit of a pirate package. Tempo Zola. Interesting. Probably this. Oh, we could take a Warlock Ravager, honestly. I feel like that better. It's a better long-term game plan. I'm okay on board. It seems to be a slower deck, so I don't need to smork. Can draw cards. Uh-oh. Okay. Bucket. Huh. Interesting. Patience. That's a lot of statistics. If I would have to nerf Druid, how would I do it? I would, I think two things need to be changed. I don't think you can touch one card and it fixes the issue. Unless that card is Scales, in theory. Touching Scales in a very aggressive way could fix the problem, but I don't think that's what they're going to be doing. I think it's more likely they will, if they do change, they might tweak Nourish or Guff. I don't think they want to revert Nourish back to 6 mana because that would make them have to admit that they made a mistake. But saying something like, oh, Guff, we kind of like what he does, but it does seem a little bit overtuned. Maybe we'll make it 6 mana. Like, they could do something like that. I still don't think changing Guff to 6 mana solves the problem. It will tweak the percent a little bit, but I don't think it'll change it enough. Two hardened criminals, I see. That's a pretty convenient top deck. Damn it, I have lethal. Fuck it, I'm chum bucketing. I don't care. Alright. Keep these buff for next game. But I don't like changing from mana crystal something. Yeah, I do like that, but I still don't think that's enough of a change. I don't think nerfing exactly Guff it fixes the problem. Keeping Scavenging against Druid so far has been okay. It's not better than Shumbucket, though. On the play, I don't know if I keep it. Yeah, let's not keep it on the play. On coining it out seems a bit better, but I'd rather just place the fun curve here. Don't bring me down. No, 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 no. Bit more of an aggro opening without buffs, but that could be fine. Yeah, I haven't tried Beast Druid myself this expansion. I did see no hands playing it in the theory crafting. It seemed pretty solid. I don't know if he tinkered much with it after that. Yeah, I was hoping not to see that. Okay, we have the Scavenger. Probably still just tempo this out. Pushes damage. Then we Scavenger. See if this is removal. Coin Wild Growth, that's fun. Coin Aquatic form into the Wild Growth off the top. Very nice. Wow! Get off the floor, don't bring me down. I would have pushed more damage with Twin Fin Fin Twin here, but I kind of want to set that down. Because once this wakes up, it's going to hit that. And then we can... Oh, then the Twin Fin won't deal with it, actually. Ooh, maybe this was bad. Oh, well. Yeah, it actually probably was better to go wide here instead of playing the Scavenger. They probably do have to kill the Lush Water Scout over the 4/4. Rock bottom. Okay, okay. Some good stuff. Take the Scavenger here to buffer board. I'll play a Fin Twin Twin Fin. And now I mean, this is also always going face. The question is, am I double trading these guys off, or am I keeping more minions on board? I think I am double trading these guys off, maximizing face damage. They have 5 mana. They can't nourish here. They are just dying, right? My deck name is Hacker Man. Oh, there you go, bud.
Well played.
Okay, we are now 3-2 against Druid. We'll call that favored.